Hello everyone, I am RedBeakRaven, and this video is going to be a bit different to what I usually do. As you may already have noticed, there's no lengthy intro or big welcome. No, I just wanted to talk about the Creation Club in a separate video to my After E3 discussion one that I'm doing. That video will be out later this week hopefully, but because I had a lot of thoughts on this in particular, I thought best to make a separate video. So let's discuss it, shall we, and try to be more reasonable about this than a lot of people were after it was revealed. Just breathe in, breathe out, release the tension, and just think. You'll have microtransactions in Fallout 4 and Skyrim. I'm sorry, alright? I'm just trying to have as much fun with this as I can. So during a rather underwhelming E3 conference, to say the least, Bethesda announced the Creation Club, right before showing more of that bloody game I love so much but I'm sick of hearing about, Skyrim. This is a service that allows all new content for both Fallout 4 and Skyrim Special Edition to be bought with credits, a form of premium currency that you can purchase on PSN, Xbox Live and Steam. The content you can expect to find in this collection are weapons, apparel, world editions, character editions, new creatures and gameplay types. The idea behind it is for more high quality original content to be added to the games. The content is created internally, some with external partners and external creators, both modders and developers alike. Now I felt the need to talk about this in depth, which is why I made a separate video on this like many others on YouTube. I'm just following the trend because I can't come up with anything original when it comes to E3 coverage. I'm sorry, I'm in one of them moods. Haven't had much sleep this E3 and this is about as informal as my content could get. So I'm not here to crap all over Bethesda or the Creation Club, but I aren't here to defend the two to the last breath either. But I will say right now, I'm not against this at this time. That decision will be made when the thing rolls out and we hear and see more on it. We have a good deal of information, but not really enough, though many, alright, loads of people would disagree. Okay, so a lot of people see this as paid mods. This to me is not paid mods, but it could be. I mean, details on this aren't exactly thorough, but I don't see this as paid mods. I can understand how people see it that way, but I don't. My first reaction was microtransactions. Not that that's a good thing. Microtransactions in a 6-year-old game and another that shouldn't really have them in my eyes. No, I can't bring myself to like that. I can, however, get behind medium-sized DLC content being sold. If you haven't already, I'd encourage you to go over to Bethesda Net and read the information on there about the Creation Club. Bethesda clearly states in the FAQ for this that it isn't paid mods and their reasons why, though all the information on there depends on how much you believe them. Personally, I think their intentions are good, but the way they revealed this wasn't, and that's led to perhaps a lot of misunderstanding. I think people are flapping their feathers way too much about this, but I can't say I blame them. Bethesda really didn't present and explain this very well. In fact, I think they could have taken more time and maybe even got someone on stage to talk about this so people could take in every detail and understand this better. While I was able to look at it as microtransactions during its reveal, many others just saw paid mods, and again, I can't blame them. The first 30 seconds was them describing mods, but taking the time to crap on Bethesda in the way many people have, they could have at least been a little bit less selfish about it and offered constructive thoughts rather than just a big FU to Bethesda. I can't deny the possibility of Bethesda using this to gain a lot of money. They are a business after all, but the flack they got for this, to be expected I suppose, especially what happened with the Skyrim mod fiasco and the conference being a disappointment overall for a lot of people, but the way people expressed their dislike for this was shocking. If you had a drinking game for every FU Bethesda got within the first hour of the conference ending, you'd die of alcohol poisoning within the next hour. Is it too much to ask for people to remain the least bit reasonable about the Creation Club instead of just going, paid mods, I'm entitled to free content, F you Bethesda? That's some people anyways. So as far as we know, Creation Club content goes through the same things as official DLC does, which means it costs money to get it out there, so charging for it makes sense. You could look at it as a way for paying for risk-free content because modding is rife with risks. You risk knackering games with every mod you install, even the simplest ones. It's unlikely most of the time, but modding a game is a gamble no matter the odds of something bad happening. If a mod suddenly breaks or is never fixed, it sounds like those issues will hardly be there with the content in this service. Other than microtransactions, I also see this as DLC, or rather the potential to be DLC. From what they showed, it's microtransactions through and through, but with potentially medium to large sized DLC content, like the Crown Store and Elder Scrolls Online I suppose. Though I will say, adding what is essentially microtransactions to a 6-year-old game, yes I know it's the remaster, but still, is a bit of a... that's something you can't get your head around in an instant. I won't lie, further milking a 6-year-old game is not something I completely agree with. Bear in mind I don't play Skyrim that much anymore, so this doesn't appeal to me in that, but Fallout 4 however it does. Well, the potential DLC stuff, not the microtransaction-like content it may spew out. Bethesda had to have expected this would have caused a rift of some kind, or at the very least backlash from a lot of people. They're implementing paid content that's similar to mods in fully priced single player games they released years ago. Granted, Fallout 4 is still fairly new, but still, you can't expect people to be okay with that straight off the bat. But had this been explained better during its reveal, they may not have had so much crap lobbed at them. They really did make the mistake of showing content that a lot of people won't see value in. But, am I the only one that saw most of what they showed as a joke? A dwarven crab armor, horse armor in Fallout 4. Do you see how they might have tried to have a laugh with this? I mean, it didn't turn out as funny as they might have thought. What if this is actually a huge prank? Oh, that would be excellent. To be honest, I think what they showed was just a placeholder. An example, the Gauze rifle, the armor, I think I've seen those before on the Nexus, so they have made a mistake with that, or just assumed people would twig on that was the case. I don't recall those backpacks though. They look quite good actually, but are they something I'd pay for? Nah. The Creation Club is something I think can be good in a few different ways. The way Bethesda have said it works is this. Firstly, not everyone can be a creator in this club, and it isn't just for modders. Bethesda stated in the video that they themselves and outside developers will be creating some of the content for this. They also said the very best creators, meaning modders, will get to be a part of this, which to me signifies they are setting a high bar for creators to reach before they can be a part of this. So we aren't talking reskins or low quality weapon designs, banana swords or pancake hats. Probably. We most definitely aren't talking copyrighted material, so your Batman suits in Skyrim will remain free mods. In fact, Bethesda stated all the content has to be original. No existing mods will be allowed on the service. From the sounds of it, you are required to get Bethesda on board with an idea before you can actually get stuck right into the work. The FAQ states, creators are required to submit documentation pictures which go through an approval process. All content must be new and original. Once a concept is approved, a development schedule with alpha, beta and release milestones is created. Creations go through our full development pipeline which creators participate in. Bethesda Game Studios developers work with creators to iterate and polish their work along with full QA cycles. The content is fully localized as well. This ensures compatibility with the original game, official add-ons and achievements. So content has to be pitched and approved. It goes through the full development pipeline which again costs manpower, therefore time, which equates to money. It's a business after all, you don't have to like it, but that's the reality. That's why I don't see it as paid mods. If Bethesda are to be believed, the content has to have a seal of approval from them, an AOK from QA, and what content's made probably has a chance to not actually get through the whole process. Content that goes through all that, I wouldn't say that's a mod. It's DLC or microtransactions, depending on how you view those two. So it sounds like it's not just for modders, but developers as well. Perhaps folks at Bethesda Game Studios have ideas they want to work on in their spare time. Think of Bethesda's Game Jam, all the things they make that don't make it into the game via patches or DLC. Those could come to the games. Developers from Bethesda's other studios might want to add content to Skyrim or Fallout 4. This could spawn small development teams to just do this for a living, adding quality content to games where its players want more things to see and do. One of my arguments for paid mods, even though this isn't that in my eyes, is that it could lead to more higher quality content, better writing, modelling, voice acting, level design. It may turn out that if you put the content that appears on the Creation Club next to what's on the Nexus for example, you may see a clear difference in quality. Probably not that much for some, seeing as though there are some excellent mods out there and incredibly talented mod authors that I think deserve to be rewarded for the hard work and time they put into their mods. Modding is hard work, even the smallest mods can take so much time to make. I don't think this will cause the modding scene to change drastically. There are many who don't want to do it for money, and I get the feeling that it may be very difficult to to become a creator in the Creation Club, which is a good thing. It won't allow for mod quality mods, if that makes sense, to appear with a price tag on it. There's a possibility it could drive modders away from the Nexus and such communities, but I don't think it will drastically affect modding in the way some people think. No, I don't see modders flocking to this and creating stuff just to sell. From the sounds of it, Bethesda wants to work with creators, but may not be in the position to work with dozens and dozens of them. But even if it did drive quite a few away, which I honestly don't think it will, if what they make is Bethesda sanctioned content, then the content will be, or rather has to be, like proper official DLC. Some of the comments about this include people saying that Bethesda should hire modders if they want to make money off their work. Well, they kind of are. You could see this as them hiring modders to work from home on content that will be made available exclusively through the Creation Club. Freelancers, I suppose. However, for this to really work well, the content sold needs to be content that's worth paying for, because despite how well this stuff does elsewhere in games with microtransactions for outfits and weapons and so on, I think it could be a special case with Bethesda. This might flop if the content isn't great. They're not exactly off to a great start with it already before it's even out, and that is their own fault to a degree. Just looking at it here, I can see why so many people are against this. I wouldn't pay for a dwarven mud crab or a bow with an eye on it. I'm not saying that people who spend a lot of time making really nice looking weapons shouldn't be rewarded for that should be free, but you have to be realistic and look at what people would be willing to buy. Provide something that's worth the money being asked for it, something that adds a fair bit to the games. I for one have never considered buying weapons and armor from developers, never mind modders. Big packs of items I think could be ideal for some people, but even then it's though it may depend on how things are priced. I despise microtransactions, buying swords and hats and pieces of furniture. I really don't care for all that, but I am somewhat fine with this for now, despite that. Probably because I don't download weapon mods, and I know that I'm not missing out because it is extra content we may not have had without the Creation Club. If this releases and content such as weapons, clothes and armor sets cost pennies, I think some people, including me, would take a step back and say, oh, maybe it's not that bad. I don't see that happening, but it could. I mean, 20p for a sword that 100,000 people buy is 20 grand, and that isn't a bad payday for less than a year's worth of work. But of course, the creators won't get 100%. One of the issues with Valve's paid mods was the percentage they and Bethesda got from each mod sold, and how they did little to actually deserve it. They were within their rights to take whatever they wanted, but that didn't make it okay. What sounds good about the Creation Club is that it's curated content. It's put through QA, alpha and beta stages. They're treating this like official content, and it sort of is. This is a way for modders, fans, to work directly with Bethesda, and if stuff such as a more polished Enderroll came out of this, or even Skywind, all with professional input, what's to complain about other than the fact it may have a few yet far less issues than a mod version would have? It looks like it solves a lot of problems that came with Valve's implementation of it, and that of course is a good thing, regardless of whether or not you agree with this whole service. Though that doesn't mean it's not without its problems and potential problems. I don't know where exactly I stand with the Creation Club, but if its content is of a high quality, curated, tested as Bethesda say it will be, then I don't really have a problem with it overall, despite my disdain for microtransactions. Plus, don't forget, it's optional. At the end of it all, we do need more information. I think they should go ahead and try it. If it doesn't work, we get to say told you so, and if it does, well, words will be eaten. I think what's classified as a mod is up in the air right now. I've seen debates on DLC technically being mods, but let's not go down that route, we'd be here all day. Bethesda said there's a high demand for more official content for their games, and I believe that. A part of me wants to say you're getting that, and if you don't like it, well, careful what you wish for. Though asking for more content doesn't mean we wanted a microtransaction fest. But like I said, this could spawn more than just small pieces of DLC that add only a little to the games. Could even encourage collaborations between modders, get the top modders out there to form their own little development teams and get to work on content that's equal to what you would expect in official DLC. Christ, some mods are better than DLC. Imagine how good they'd be with proper QA and potentially more resources. Some said they bought the games for free mods. Now I can understand that as an incentive to buy and play, but just because they are free doesn't mean they should always be. Yes, I myself would prefer free content, but I can see the great benefits of some modders getting paid and having money to put into their work. Again though, modders may not be that big a part of this as we think. We don't know what exactly Bethesda means by working with devs and outside creators. Is it going to be a few modders or many? From the looks of things here, most of the Creation Club content is created internally, so Bethesda is apparently going to be making most of it themselves, which is good, but microtransactions. It sounds like a much better system than what Valve came out with back in 2015. This is a system I think I can get behind if done right. Plus, it helps with the issue we have with console modding. Don't forget, PS4 players can't get the same modding experience as we PC and Xbox players can, so the Creation Club might be very appealing to them, but they also might feel a bit left out by that being the only way they can get decent mods. Not that I'm trying to defend Bethesda here, but blame Sony for that. If anything, Bethesda found a loophole. Sort of. Most of the people I've seen arguing against this don't seem to have a reason other than they think it's paid mods and we shouldn't be paying for them. At the end of the day, it's up to you whether or not you think this is paid mods or even agree with it. Like I said in my video on paid mods a while ago, I think people should be open to the idea of paid mods if it's done right. Yet I still don't know where I stand with that for definite. As a gamer who wants value for money, who may not want to be or be able to spend over £100 on a single game, I can't deny my dislike for this if it promotes tiny pieces of content for absurd prices, which it may very well do. The Crown Store on ESO is ridiculous, and I can't help but look at that and see it possibly being replicated in Skyrim and Fallout 4 with the Creation Club. As a gamer, especially in today's world, I can see how frustrating it might be to see yet another service that allows us to fork out for content, but at the end of the day, it's optional. You don't have to buy into it. While I don't see this as paid mods, it may be a step in the right direction in regards to that. As a content creator and barely a modder, I'm a fan of the idea of some people getting paid for the decent stuff they do. The argument that mods or content you deem a mod should be free because they've always been free is ridiculous and weak. Overall, I think this has a lot of potential, especially if it has more professional development teams adding to it on top of some mod creators with more resources and a professional hand to guide them. And if you're still in complete anger or disbelief about this, or are extremely surprised this is happening, this was going to happen one way or another. Paid mods is something companies like Valve and Bethesda have wanted to happen for years now. It's just Bethesda seem to have come up with something that could be a lot better than what we saw in 2015. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking about this now. That is all my thoughts and reasoning on the Creation Club. I've tried to see it from multiple angles: the gamer, the modder, the developer, the PS4 player, and now I'll ask any of you to give me your opinion. Let me know in the comments below what are your thoughts on the Creation Club, and do you agree or disagree with me? Have I failed to mention anything? So let me know what you're thinking. I'll be interested in seeing where this goes. So my after E3 discussion will be coming later this week, hopefully before the weekend, but maybe not. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and listening. That's all from me, so until next time, I'll see you soon.